In 2023, I decided that it was a moment for me to start reading more. I was never a person that had the habit of reading, and I decided that maybe for me it was a good time to start reading more than I was reading before. Like I said before in my previous videos, I would always come up with excuses that instead of reading a book, would be better for me if I continue to study more things in terms of programming. I would read a Python book, I would read a document, or anything that would serve as an excuse to not read. I would convince myself that I was better off doing that thing instead of reading a book. So I decided that I would stop doing that and I was going to start reading more. I needed to change my habits. So I started by reading books related to habits, books related to discipline, books related to improving your ways overall. So the first book that I bought was Atomic Habits. So this was the first book that I bought. I bought this book in 2023. I finished it in a couple of weeks because this book is one of the best books in terms of habits that I got to my collection. It's easy reading, easy to apply in your day-to-day. I'm not saying that I am the best version of myself by far when I compare it to the person doing this video, but I can honestly say that some things changed in my life after reading this book. One of them was continue to reading more books than I was reading before. So it is a win for me. And I continue to read more books related to habits, related to self-improvement, and so on. So the next book that I got was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is the next book that I got to my book collection. This book is fantastic. I made a video before talking about this book. I wrote an article online on Medium talking about this book because I think this book, if I put these two side by side, I don't know which one of them I would pick, honestly, but if I can choose, I would choose both, to be honest. So I'm not going to pick one. I would use these two books because, this one is easy to read, is easy to apply, but this one is a more depth in terms of habits, not only habits, but overall terms or topics that you don't consider when you think about changing your ways of being. And this one can be applied not only on yourself, but your family, your friends, and so on. So I would, maybe I'm more inclined to this one than this one, but they are both amazing books. The next book that I got was The Compound Effect. This book is amazing. I love this book because, if you think about it, every little things that we do in our life head on to the person that we are right now or the person that we're going to be. If I look back to my first video and I look back to this one, maybe little things have improved. Of course, I have more room to improve, but you can see improvements. Right now, I can say that, my English is a little bit better. I'm not a fluent or I'm not a native English speaker, but I'm trying to improve my English speaking. Right now, my English is becoming better and better over time. Of course, repetition, you will be ending up improving the way that you are speaking, the way that you are behaving, and so on. This book is a clear reminder of this. It also shows how you can improve in terms of habits, things that you can put in practice in your life to improve yourself, to improve your family, to improve your friendship, and so on. So this book is also a recommendation. If I can recommend you a book that you can read in 2025 if you want to improve your habits, eliminate the bad ones, think about the little things that you do that can be beneficial for you in the long term, things that you are doing right now that will have a negative effect in your life, in your family in the long run. So if you want to think in terms of little things that you are doing or little things that you are not doing but you could have been doing and could help you improve, could help you do things that you wish you would do, maybe this book can be the way to go for you. In the way of continuing, I was seeing that I was struggling with being myself, not thinking about what other people would think about me, the videos that I'm doing online. Maybe my friends would think I'm stupid for doing this. Maybe someone online would see my video and would make fun of it. So all these thoughts that we have when we are starting to doing something new, something that is scary at first, can work against us when we want to take a step further and continue the process that we are now, or the process that we want to be on. So I bought this book. The title is self-explanatory, but don't let the title mislead you about, just go around and let people dislike you. It's not more about this, I made a video before where I went through this book as well. You can see the video using the link that you can find in here. This book is fantastic, you know. It makes you think about doing your things. Don't worry about what other people think, because if I'm making this video, it's not my job whether people like it or not. My job is to try to do the best thing that I can, to try to share the value that I think is worth sharing with other people, you know. It's like when I'm educating my son, I'm trying to do my best to educate my son, but in the future is whether he take the things that I'm passing on to him is up to him. It's like my father did the best thing that he could, he and my mother, for me, and my only job was whether I took it or not. So if I apply the good things that they taught me, was up to me. It's not their task to do that. So this book goes through the things that, you know, don't worry about what other people think about you. Focus on yourself. Try to be the best person that you can, but don't expect the people to recognize you, to prize you. So also, this is an amazing book. The book that I never get tired of mentioning when I write online as well is this book. By Marcus Aurelius. This is an amazing book. This is a book that you can take with you day to day. Walk with this book, recommend your friend, gift this book to a friend of yours if you wish them well, or if you want them to think about, you know, life overall, you know, thinking about when something bad happens to them. Maybe it's part of life. It's not because life is working against them, but, you know, things happen, shit happens to everybody, not only them, not only me, not only you, you know, things happen with everybody. If you think you have it worse, I can guarantee you that someone have worse than you. So in the end of the day, is the way we cope with the situation that will make the difference. It's not what happens to us, but the way that we deal with things, you know. Everything that happens in the world is part of something bigger than us, so don't think that is personal because life is conspiring against you or something like this. So this is something that this book can give you. Another book as well is How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book is amazing because it will teach you the interpersonal relationship, how you deal with people, if you have an idea, how you can pitch it, things like this as well. It's not a habit book, but it's a book on how you can be the best version of yourself, how you can deal with people, this kind of things. I'm not going to go into much detail on this video, but I love this book as well. It's one of the books that I read during 2024 that I really enjoyed, and I would also recommend for you if you want to start this journey of self-improvement, relationship improvement, and so on. Also, without moving further, I love this book as well, Beyond Order by Dr. Jordan Peterson. I read the 12 Rules of Life by Dr. Jordan Peterson, and then I read this one. I would also recommend these two books if you want to, you know, try to expand your reading a little bit more. One of the things that I applied from this book was the advice, you know, when you have something wrong going on with someone, like say your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or your friend, you should tell them, you should make them aware of something that is wrong. You know, don't keep to yourself. I was having an argument with my wife, I think it was a few months ago. I was in this chapter where, you know, put them in the fog. Pretty much you tell the things that someone did with you that you did not like, instead of keeping it to yourself and, you know, acting like I don't want to talk with you because you did something, but you don't tell what they did wrong. You keep it to yourself. They try to guess what they did wrong or something like this, instead of you telling them so they can improve, or you can discuss and solve the issue. I am someone that always try to keep to myself. If you do something wrong with me, I will try to keep to myself. I will try to excuse that I'm trying to compose myself, because if I don't have nothing to say, I will stay quiet, I will think about it, but I will end up never telling what someone did wrong for me or with me. And this next time it would happen again, and I would continue to do the same thing. So I had this argument with my wife, and I told her exactly what I was thinking, and we discussed. So it was one of the lessons that I applied to my personal life from this book. My reading changed a little bit in the end of 2024. So I stopped reading books about the habits, books about, you know, I wouldn't say self-improvement, but because every book somehow improve you because you learn something from the book. But I shifted a little bit from the habits book that I was reading in the beginning of 2024, I started to read things related to completely different topics than the ones that I started the year from. So one of the books that I started reading lately is this one. I am fresh at start, if you can see. This book is about COVID-19, things that happen, things that we don't know, so I didn't go too much into it right now. Another book that I started reading as well is this one about the trauma and so on. So I'm at the beginning of this book as well. But the first pages that I read, I enjoyed. So I'm not going to tell you that you should buy it, but I enjoyed the first pages that I read. I heard the author of this book on the Divan podcast, so I enjoyed the podcast, and he talked about the things that he wrote in this book. I really enjoyed. So when I finish it, I will tell you whether I like it or not, if I would recommend it for a friend or not. But the first pages of this book and the last one as well about COVID, about the real Anthony Fauci, I enjoyed the first pages, to be honest with you. If you read or if you listen to podcasts, especially about Dr. Jordan Peterson podcast, he talk a lot about Nietzsche, so I decided that maybe it's a good time for me to start reading a little bit about philosophy and this kind of stuff. I got this book, I read a few pages. It's an amazing book. One of the quotes from this book that I enjoyed really much, and I shared it with a friend of mine. Let me see if I can find it so I can share with you as well. How shall I reach the top? No time for just reflecting. Start climbing. You know, it's like me when I'm trying to see how can I be better YouTuber or can I be better communicator. You know, no time for discussion. Just start doing videos. Just start doing things that you think would make you in the right direction to be the person that you want to be, and let the destiny and the faith do their job, and hopefully you will end up being the person that you are striving to be. So that's all for me from this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope some of these books would have a good impact, a positive impact on your life, as some of them had in my life. And see you next video. Bye bye.